There we go. All right, so we did the arm and its girdle now, or the arm and its girdle. Now we're going to do the leg and its girdle. So the girdle for our leg is a combo of the sacrum and the hip bone. You can see that I've got the femur as the upper bone, the patella as my kneecap, the tibia, the fibula, and the foot. Now, I want you to notice something. This is the right leg. This is the medial end. This is the one that goes in toward the body, which makes this the lateral end. Again, this will become important down here. Also notice that when we get to the lower half of the leg, the calf, the tibia is medial, the fibula is lateral. That's actually going to be pretty important because we've got medial pieces down here and lateral pieces down here on different bones, but it's based off of where they're located, okay? Sorry, I just stepped on my own shoe. All right. I keep doing that. It's just going to keep happening. Sorry. So let's talk about the pelvic girdle. So we know that this is the sacrum. These are the pelvic bones. Okay. So you can see them right there. So the sacroiliac joint. So the pelvis itself, the pelvic bones, are actually three bones that fuse together as we get older. So we've got the ilium. Where this is the ischium. And where these meet here is the pubis. So the sacroiliac joint right here is between the sacrum and the iliac bone. So it's right here, okay, or right here. It's that joint between those two bones. The iliac crest is basically the butterfly wing, the crest here, okay? And then you've got the anterior iliac spine. See how you kind of have this scalloped edge here? So there's that scalloped edge right here is that first bump, okay? You already know the sacrum and the coccyx. That has not changed. The acetabulum. The acetabulum right here is going to be this space where the femur actually fits, okay? The pubic symphysis is actually the joining of these two bones. This is actually a joint. The obturator foramen. Foramen means hole, right? So if you look down here, do you see this hole? Okay, that's the obturator foramen. The subpubic angle. Sub means below, right? And the pubic bones are right here. So see this angle being created right here? That's the sub underneath the pubic area angle. And again, the ilium is the butterfly wing. The pubis is this front part here where you've got that pubic symphysis. And then the ischium is where this joint is. Okay? Difference between a male and a female pelvis. Male's pelvis tends to be more butterfly-like. Female pelvis kind of opens up and forms a bowl. So if you look at the difference, the male pelvis has higher sides to his wings. The female pelvis kind of spreads out. Very intentional. Carrying a baby, not carrying a baby. Having a bowl to hold that weight is actually beneficial. Also notice, the hole here versus the hole here. This hole is actually significantly bigger. This is a place that that baby has to pass through to get through the birth canal to get out of the mother. So having this shape to your pelvis makes more sense as far as our reproductive function goes. Okay, so the hip bone all by its lonesome. Okay, same parts and pieces. Still have the ilium, still have the ischium, still have the pubis. That has not changed. Okay, so the lateral view would be from here, and then the medial view would be in here. Okay, and it's pretty simple to tell the difference because the lateral view is going to have the acetabulum in it. Because when you look at this way from the side, there's that acetabulum, okay? All right, so lateral view, there's the acetabulum. You've got the iliac crest up here. You've got the ilium, the butterfly wing. You've got the anterior superior iliac spine. Remember that scallopy end we talked about? Okay. The acetabulum. So here's my pubis, right? There's that angle. This piece that's on the top is the superior pubic ramus. Below that angle here is going to be the inferior pubic ramus. And then when you get to about here, this is where that joint is. This is going to be the ischial ramus. The hole, still the obturator foramen, hasn't changed. Coming up here, do you see how this kind of gets rough? It's not like this smooth anymore. It kind of thickens out here. That's going to be the ischial tuberosity, okay? Coming out from that, right there, you've got the ischial spine. And right under that, do you see that space here? This is the lesser sciatic notch. And then up here, see that? That's the greater sciatic notch. So our sciatic nerve is the biggest nerve that we have. Basically runs from your spinal column down to your foot. So it's a big nerve. That's one of the reasons why people will get sciatica and things like that, because it's fairly easy to damage something that big because it's really prominent. But these spaces that we see here are so that it can come out and go down our leg. Let's see, let me make sure I got everything. Yes. Now, that was the lateral view. Let's go for the medial view. So, see this rough? See how smooth this is, and then this is real rough? Sounded like somebody's phone went off, but mine's on silent and it didn't go off, so, Anyway, that's the articular surface that articulates with the sacrum. So, where this meets with this, so that surface right there, that's what we're looking at, okay? Where it articulates it together. So that's this rough surface right here. Still have the iliac crest, still have the ilium. The iliac fossa, remember, fossa is flat and smooth. That's this right here. Okay, see how smooth and flat that is? Okay. Let's see. okay? The superior iliac spine, the inferior iliac spine, I'm standing right in front of it, sorry guys. The superior pubic ramus, the pubis itself, the inferior pubic ramus, the obturator foramen, the ischioramus, because again, there's the ischium, so that's what that is, okay? The sciatic notches again, you've got, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. This is the ischioramus. When I turned it around, I got turned around myself. Okay, so the lesser sciatic notch, the greater sciatic notch, okay? The sciatic spine, this little sticky outy part right here. Yeah, and that's the parts and pieces for this. Remember what I said before, kind of like with the skull, if you have multiple angles, you're still talking about the same parts and pieces, it's just from one angle from the other angle. So don't freak out about, oh, I've got to memorize all of these. If you know it from one direction, you should be able to point it out from the other direction as well. All right. So the femur. Femur is one of those bones that you can't confuse with anything else because of this. This is the only bone in your entire body that has this head with a really prominent neck. Can't mistake it for anything else, okay? So, looking at this, see this smooth, and then you've got this big old lumpy thing? This smooth is going to be the front, because this is where your kneecap sits. So if I come up here to the top, see this? This goes in to my hip, right? It's facing medially, yes? So this is going to be the medial side. This over here is going to be my lateral side. So when I get down here and there's a medial epicondyle and a lateral epicondyle, I know what direction they are. Okay, so see that, hole right here? That is the fovea capitis. I don't know why I'm hiccuping right now. The head is this rounded prominence here. The neck is that right there. Okay, so same, fovea, head, neck, regardless of whether you're looking at the back or you're looking at the front, okay? Now again, this is anterior view, and you can see that smoothness there, so this is the anterior view. You've got the greater trochanter, that big old ridge right there, and then the intertrochanteric line. Okay. Greater trochanter, yes? The intertrochanteric line. I don't know if you're going to be able to. Can you see that ridge right there? See it? Right here. The intertrochanteric line. Okay, right there. It's right here. Coming down, remember, lateral, medial, right? This is medial, this is medial. If this is lateral, this is lateral. So we have the lateral epicondyle, the medial epicondyle. Lateral epicondyle, medial epicondyle. We've got the patellar groove. See that little groove right here? See it? That right there. That's the patellar groove. And then the body is basically the shaft of the bone. Now, Anterior. Let's go posterior, okay? Again, head, neck, greater trochanter, that hasn't changed. But I've got this little bump here that's the lesser trochanter. See it right here? So this is the greater, this is the lesser. These are attachment points for muscles. The pectineal line, see that right there? Right there. Okay. Going down from that, I've got the condyles. Remember, epi means above, right? So these epicondyles are above the actual condyles. And then I've got this intercondylar fossa. Remember, fossa is kind of that smooth groove. So medial condyle, medial epicondyle. Lateral condyle, lateral epicondyle. And then right here, that smooth that you see right there is going to be the intercondylar fossa. Inter in between condyles, and then smooth little area here. Okay, so that's what that is. Okay, so that's the femur. The patella, your kneecap, kind of looks like a triangle. See how it has a little point where my thumbs are? Kind of flat at the top, and then the little point where my thumbs are. This sits in this space right here. Remember this smooth portion? Okay. So you can always tell anterior from posterior. The anterior bows out. The anterior actually kind of bows out. The posterior, you've got kind of this folded nature to it where it kind of comes up to a peak in the middle. Okay, so this is anterior, no peak in the middle. This is posterior, that peak in the middle. So anterior surface is the smooth surface. Posterior, you've got the medial and lateral facets. So again, if you look, lateral looks pretty big and chunky, medial looks smaller. Lateral is actually wider than the medial. Okay? All right, so that's the patella, the kneecap. Now let's do fibula and tibia. Fibula with an L, tibia. There is no L. So remember what I said about their location. Tibia is always going to be medial. Fibula is always going to be lateral. It's always going to be toward the side. Telling them apart. Tibia is very thick and tough. Tibia is tough. Fibula looks flimsy. Okay? Also, tibia, if you look at it, kind of looks like it makes the letter T. Okay? It's not perfect, but it's something. All right. So, the knee joint is made between the tibia and the femur. The fibula doesn't actually have anything to do with this joint. It's actually, where is it? It's actually further below that. There. Okay. This actually sits way the heck down here, which if your joint is up here, that's not going to really play a part in it. So you've got your tibia. You've got your intercondylar eminence. See that bump right there? That's what that is. That actually fits in this space, and these two Fossa, these two flat portions, are where those condyles sit to make the knee. So remember, this is always medial. That means this is medial. That means this side is medial. This side is lateral. So medial, right? Medial condyle, lateral condyle. That's what I mean by directional terms. This is that bump on the inside of your ankle, okay? This is actually called the medial malleolus. If you look down here, see this here? This is the medial malleolus. So if this is medial, this is medial. So this is the medial condyle, this is the lateral condyle. The tibial tuberosity, see that bump right there? That's the tibial tuberosity. Yep. Okay, so with your fibula, the ends kind of again look similar, but they're not the same. This one is actually wider than that one. So you've got the top, the head, and then this down here, okay, is the part that goes over the outside of your ankle. So this is the lateral malleolus, okay? So the way that this works, see that groove right there? This actually attaches up here and then fits into this groove right here in the base, okay? So you've got, the top's not right, but just go with me. The medial malleolus, the inside bump of your ankle, the lateral malleolus, the outside bump of your ankle. Yep. All right. The foot. Kind of like with your hand, I'm not asking you to know everything. If you're planning on going into rad tech, you're going to have to know everything. But for me, for right now, you really don't. So your hand is the carpals. Your foot is the tarsals, okay? So you've got the tarsals, the metatarsals, and the phalanges, or the digits. I do want you to know two specific bones up here, though. One is this one, the heel bone, called the calcaneus, okay? The other is this. This is what makes your ankle. This is the talus, okay? So you've got the digits or the phalanges, the metatarsals. This is going to be pretty much the flat part of your foot. The tarsals, which are the ankle, okay, the ankle bones, the talus, and the calcaneus, okay? So that is the parts of the skeleton that you need to know. So this will be practical 2. Don't forget that. I've got one more thing to record, and that's the joints, which are pretty straightforward. And then you'll be done and you'll have all the recordings that you need for your second practical for your Unit 2 practical.